Hi, welcome to Street Priest Ministries. I'm your host, Brother Jay, as we're taking the Gospels back to the streets. Today's drive-through message is Brother Aaron, the People's Pastor. So turn in your Bibles to Exodus 24:12. You got a lot of Rufus Glitter Tees, Smiley Sauls, New Age Balaams in the pulpits these days, and I'm hard on them. I'm ruthless. They ain't gonna let up. And they're just like Brother Aaron here in the Bible. And you'll see what I mean. You see the same traits, the people's pastor. So Exodus 24:12. Now, when Jesus ascended, he left some apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers for the perfecting of the saints, to bring them to maturity. Our work is being finished through Christ, which he started. We're under shepherds. And as under shepherds, there's a lot of responsibility to do what God the Father wants us to do, not what the people want us to do. So you've got to take a good hard look. Now, I've taught on Moses several times. You get my teaching on Moses, you can get the video. 4 great prophets, Moses was one of them. And Elijah and Jesus and Paul was the other 3. And I've taught on Moses a couple other times too. So you can look that up for yourself. All right, Exodus 24:12. And the Lord said unto Moses, Come up to me unto the mount, and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone. Now, for some of you novices that don't know the Bible at all, Aaron is Moses' older brother. And God brought them all out of Egypt together, and now we're at Mount Sinai to get the law. That's where we're at. I just gave you a quick 70 lead boots backdrop. And the Lord said unto Moses, Come up to me unto the mount, and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone, and a law, and commandments, which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua, and Moses went up the mount of God. And he said unto the elders, Tarry ye here for us, until we come again unto you. Wait here. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them. So he's saying, I'm going up the mountain to receive the law from God, the 2 tablets of stone. And while I'm up there, Aaron and Hur is in charge down here regarding your matters dealing with the people. So he entrusted Aaron to be the leader while in his absence. And Moses went up unto the mountain, and a cloud covered the mountain, and the glory of the Lord abode upon the Mount Sinai. And the cloud covered 6 days. And the 7th day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud. Now they discovered this mountain, Ron White. It's a fact of history. The mountain is burnt at the top, and they can't explain why. There's apparent no volcanic activity. That was God activity. God charred that mountain. He's a consuming fire when he touched down. The fire was blazing for many, many miles for people to see. Smoke was in it. And the sight of the glory of the Lord was like a devouring fire on top of the mount in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud, and gat him unto the mount, and Moses was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. So you got a clear picture. He's up there 40 days and 40 nights receiving the law. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering. Of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart, you shall take an offering. Can't even talk about God without talking about offerings. I told you. I just wanted to read that. Now we'll skip down to verse 32, same chapter, 25:32. Just want to get that in. Make sure. No, it's a chapter 32. Let's see. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. It's my bad. It's chapter 32, Exodus chapter 32, verse 1. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron. Pay close attention, the people. Gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, see how they say that with such disdain? Like they hate it. As for this Moses, the man that brought us out of the land of Egypt, forgot about all those miracles as God split the Red Sea, put all the plagues. They were slaves in Egypt. And God delivered them. They forgot. How soon we forget. The man that was brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what has become of him. We don't know what happened to him. He's up in the mountain. God probably killed him up there. So the show must go on. And Aaron said unto them, now this is very important. Instead of saying, sit down, shut up, and wait for Moses to come. He'll be back. Have some faith. No, he didn't do that. And Aaron said unto them, break off golden earrings, which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people brake off golden earrings, which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron. And he received them at his hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool. Now that was one of his jobs, was in Egypt, was an engraver as a slave. So he knew, he was a craftsman. He knew what he was doing. And he received them at his hand and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it a golden calf. See how guilty old brother Aaron is? He's the people's pastor. He made him a golden calf. Now you know, God's up there at the top of the mountain telling Moses, one of the laws, thou shalt have no other gods before. And he's making a god down here at the foot of the mountain. He made a graven tool. After that, he made a molten calf. And he said, these be our gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. Oh, he didn't just stop there. Bad enough he built the golden calf. Now he's going to build an altar to mount it on. The apex bull, something God hates, the arch enemy, symbol of Baal, Nimrod. Let's get all my teaching on that. Yeah, you can get the latest, Synagogue of Satan, the ancient occult, where I teach on Nimrod, the sun god, S-U-N, the counterfeit Trinity, him and his wife Astrip and his son Thomas. This is what he made. He made the symbol, the apex bull, which God loathed. And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast of the Lord. And they rose up early on the morning. Notice how he twisted a feast of the Lord with this pagan idol. That was what my teaching was on the Synagogue of Satan, the ancient occult. where I said we have Christian witches and Christian wizards trying to do both. There ain't no such thing in God's kingdom. Either no man can serve two masters. You're on one side of the fence or the other. If you think you're straddling the fence, you just deceive. You're really on the other side of the fence serving Satan. And they rose up early on the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. Mixing the two right here. Good old brother Aaron. And the people sat down to eat and to drink and rose up to play. Not the kind of play, ain't the kind of play you thinking about, the ring around the rosy. As I've stated before. They had an orgy. It was a sexual rite. And the Lord said unto Moses, God sees everything, even on top of the mountain. And the Lord said unto Moses, go get thee down, for thy people which, he said thy people. Ain't my people, God disowned. He said, the Lord said unto Moses, go get thee down, for thy people which thou broughtest. He said you brought them out. God ain't claiming them at all. Which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, they have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. And they have made them molten calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, these be our gods, O Israel, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And the Lord said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Now, as far as I'm going to go, I can tell you, God got pissed off, wanted to wipe them all out, told Moses, you can go gather the stones around the mountain. I'll raise up a whole new tribe, 12 tribes of people from them stones, so you can lead them and just wipe this bunch out. And Moses interceded on the people's behalf, saved them from that, but God is still pissed. Moses is pissed, God's pissed. Moses goes down to the foot of the mountain and slaughters 3,000 of them. That made God a little happy. Made them eat gold dust soup, ground that calf from. Now, where I'm getting at, old brother Aaron didn't seem to suffer no consequences. But yes, he did. It was very subtle how God got him back. God never mentioned, even when Moses asked him, he said Aaron's excuse was, I feared the people. It was a riot because you were missing 40 days, so I made him this calf to pacify him. But God wouldn't bind, neither was Moses. But nothing was done, no reprimand whatsoever of Aaron, but God got him back a subtle way, and I'm going to show you. God don't forget. You see what he did to old brother Aaron for being the people's pastor and building a golden calf. So go to Leviticus 9:9. The next chapter. Now, Aaron had sons, and they were priests too. Aaron's the high priest. He's the one that made the high atonement offering. Yom Kippur, Feast of Atonement for the sins of the people once a year. He was the one that went in there to represent his people, old brother Aaron. And the sons of Aaron brought the blood unto him. Now this is his sons as priests too. And he dipped his finger in the blood and put it up on the horns of the altar and poured out the blood at the bottom of the altar. And the fat and the kidneys and the caul above the liver of the sin offering he burnt up on the altar as the Lord commanded Moses. And the flesh and the hide he burnt with fire without the camp. This is all symbolizing Christ. Christ was crucified outside the camp. And he slew the burnt offering. And Aaron's son presented unto him the blood, which he sprinkled around upon the altar. And they presented the burnt offering unto him, with the pieces thereof, and the head, and he burnt them upon the altar. Without the shedding of blood, there should be no remission of sins. They under the covenant of the animal sacrifices, taking the people's place. It should be the people getting sacrificed, but God allowed till Christ was to come, animal sacrifice. And that's what he's doing, atoning for the people's sins. And he did wash the inwards and the legs, and burnt them upon the burnt offering on the altar. And he brought the people's offering, and took the goat, which was the sin offering for the people, and slew it, and offered it for sin, as was the first. And he brought the burnt offering, and offered it according to the manner. And he brought the meat offering, and took an handful thereof, and burned it up on the altar, beside the burnt sacrifice of the morning. He slew also the bullock and the ram, which Aaron's sons presented unto him, the blood, which he sprinkled upon the altar round about, and the fat of the bullocks and of the ram, and the rump, and that which covered the inwards. God had a precise way to do these offerings. That's what they're doing, dotting their I's across their teeth. And the kidneys and the caul above the liver. And they put the fat upon the breast, and he burnt the fat upon the altar. And the breast and the right shoulder Aaron waved for a wave offering before the Lord, as Moses commanded. And Aaron lifted up his hand toward the people, and blessed them, and came down from offering of the sin offering, and the burnt offering and peace offering. And Moses and Aaron went into the tabernacle of the congregation, and came out and blessed the people, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto the people. And there came fire out from before the Lord, and consumed upon the altar the burnt offering, and the fat, which all the people saw, and they shouted and fell on their faces. So God accepted the office, showed up and burned it up. And Nadab and Abihu, this is Aaron's sons, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer, and put fire therein, and put incense thereon, and offered strange fire before the Lord, which he commanded them not. That fire had to come from the brazen altar. That was symbolizing Christ, his desire, his will. God was very specific. All the fire, there was the light candles and everything had to come from that brazen altar. Brass altar, symbol of judgment. And there went out fire from the Lord, and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. God killed his two sons. Now get my teaching, God Hates Presumption. You can look that video up where I give other examples of God killing people because they didn't dot their I's across their T's with it. And they were presumptuous in the way he had the way prescribed, and they were presumptuous in doing it the way they want. God got Aaron back. Killed his two sons. That was a sort of way of getting him back for building that golden calf. All you people's pastor out there, take heed. You're serving the people. See the end result with old brother Aaron. Now, we're going to go to the New Testament. See how this ties in. Galatians 1:3. Go to Galatians 1:3. God's the same today, yesterday, and forever. He don't change. He's still the same God. He's just quiet now. He done wrote 66 books. He ain't got to say much. That's why we read this book, so we understand his ways. That's what God lamented. He said, children of Israel saw his acts. Only Moses come to know his ways. Though Joshua and Caleb in there too. All right, Galatians 1:3. This is Pastor Paul. Grace be unto you and peace from God the Father and from our Lord Jesus Christ, who gave himself for our sins, that he might deliver us from the present evil world, according to the will of God our Father, to whom be glory forever and ever. Amen. I marvel that ye are so soon removed from him that called you unto the grace of Christ, unto another gospel. Just like they were. They were soon removed, soon as Moses up there 40 days. They forgot all about it. The pastor, and brother Aaron built him a golden calf, which is not another gospel, But there be some that trouble you. They trying to mix the two here too. Mix God with some other false teaching and doctrine. Trouble you too and would pervert the gospel of Christ. Calls them perverts. Means that one of Satan's names is the perverse one. Means to put that which belongs in front behind and that which belongs behind in front. The word pervert means. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you that which we have preached unto you, but though we are an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you, then that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. You hear that? You Rufus Lyric Tees, you Smiley songs, you New Age babies. You're cursed. It's like Aaron got his sons wiped out. As we said before, so say I now, again, if any man preach any other gospel to you that ye have received, let him be accursed. Said it twice. Number of adequate witness. For do I now persuade men? As you as a pastor got to ask yourself that question. Are you seeking to please the men? Are you seeking to please the world with your worldly gospel? And your stadium's full, trash cans full of money going around? And your high society lifestyle, is that what you're trying to please men? For do you seek to persuade men or God? Or do you seek to please men? For if you please men, for yet I please men, I should not be the servant of Christ. You can't do both. Can't hold Satan's hand and Christ's hand. It ain't gonna work. So you gotta decide. You brother Aarons out there, this is for you. It's for you. Brother Aarons. Coming straight at you like a Mack truck with the truth. Straight jamming you flat. It's for you. The people's pastors. Who are you going to please? Who are you here to serve? Now, the last verse, Titus 1:10. Go to Titus. That's where we're going to end. Titus 1:10. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of circumcision, whose mouths must be stopped. Paul said we got to, Pastor Paul preaching, we got to shut them up. Shut their mouths. Who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake. Sound very familiar, for the love of money. That's what you got these brother Aarons out there doing right now. Who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake, for money. For mammon, love of mammon. One of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said, the creatures are always liars, evil beasts, slow bellies. This witness is true, which before rebuked them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith. That's what we're supposed to do as men of God and not men pleasers, is rebuke. We do. Bring people around to the truth. Open rebuke is better than secret love, the Bible says. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but a kiss of enemy is deceit. You got these timid, deer-like, rabbit-like brother Aaron pastors behind the pulpits that are strictly the people's pastor. They don't offend no one. Christ was very offensive. Paul is definitely offensive. The truth is offensive. It's like a vial of good medicine that you need. Some of you will give your congregation strychnine with a smile. Let's settle in for a minute. This witness is true. Wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith, not giving heed to Jewish fables. What did Jesus say? You make void the word of God by your traditions of men, fables. What we don't do here is street preach. We're We're wrecking balls for favor. That's what we do. Smash them. Till we see one. The giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. Hear that? Smiley Saul's, Rufus Glitter Chiefs, New Age Baby. Returning from the truth. Unto the pure all things are pure. But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled. They profess that they know God, but in works they deny. What did Jesus say? You'll know them by their fruits. They look at the tree. The tree going to produce thorns and thistles, or is it going to produce apples? Being abominable and disobedient, and to every good work reprobate. That's the brother Aaron's for you. What he did was very reprobate and abominable. Building that golden calf. And God got him back. And God gonna get you back. May you be accursed if you're not preaching the good news that Christ and the dispensation of the gospel that was handed to Pastor Paul was preached. May you be accursed. You brother Aaron's, the people pastor. Now, if I'm the one teaching, including thieving, robbing pastors, out there, go to streetpriestministry.org, hit the donate button. If I'm the one that taught you, Galatians 6:6 there. Bring your tithes, first fruits, alabaster box, offerings to streetpriestministry.org, hit the donate button. Good evening, good night, good day to you around the world. God bless you. May you go in faith in Jesus' name.